Okay, so we are the weekly learning in the actual office. Last week it was in the Beis Midrash in London, which, hopefully wasn't functioning as an office, but probably was on some level, especially after davening, because there was always what to do. And then I headed out into the cold English air. And it's nice to be able to be back in the office in the Holy Land in Israel. And we don't take for granted we have this space. It's a big blessing. So we're going to go ahead now. We're already in past Rosh Chodesh Kislev. So we're already in the Chodesh of Kislev, in the month of Kislev, already counting those 25 days. Keneged Shema Yisrael Hashem and Keneged Shem Echad, the 25 letters there, and also the 24 letters, Baruch Shem Kavod, L'Olam Va'ed, which is Erev Rosh Chodesh. We're in that energy and in that avoda of Mesiras Nefesh and preparing our way towards the holy festival Chanukah. So we're going to carry on learning the halachas as well as diving into BNEI Yissacher today. I'll be doing a separate session for Rabbi Nachman, Torah L'Kutmaron, hopefully in Shirat David, and we're keeping up with the general other classes on the Unity Flow podcast. Whoever listens, and please God, we'll only have good news. And here we are. So we are in Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, Laws of Chanukah, Siman 139. And we're learning halacha 10. And the reason we're learning this is because, thank God, we managed to get here already in a short time. We're a bit ahead of the game with Chanukah approaching, but as you can see, time moves quick. So it's good that we are preempting the Erev Chanukah rush to know what the halachas are and bring down that energy before we even get there, so that we'll be well prepared and we'll be able to tap into the specialness of this festival. And it's relevant also in Parshat Vayeitzei Yaakov. This parsha, every parsha leading up to Chanukah, I believe there's a relevance, and it's very clear in Vayeitzei Yaakov with the Shemen Zayit that Yaakov pours onto the stones to anoint them. We see this concept of Tikkun Tfilas Arvis. He fixed the time of davening as Arvis, and that's the same time that we're going to learn about in a moment of the lighting of the Menorah. It has a specific time, and it has to be around night time, just like Yaakov's lighting up the nights in his traveling to find his soulmate and working hard, everyone here working hard into the nights of the winter nights, and so too with Yaakov Avinu, who's building his mishpacha, Baruch Hashem, and he's working hard into the nights with Lavan, Arami, and all the hustle that goes on in the business world is very dominant to that he had to deal with the Sargud of Bottom and bringing up children and building a family while working. The Yaakov Voda is very much something which we can all relate to at this stage, and being that we're in the office, we're hopefully living up to also practically. Zman Hadaglachsan, the time for lighting the menorah. Miyad Meseiz Chachavim, immediately at nightfall. See, straight away. Thinking the fear Zman and Halach is exactly what the Pasha. Lo Yacher, one should not deny a delay past this time. So it says underneath, we always need to go underneath. Literally, the emergence of the stars. The Mishnah Berurah cites another view that the proper time for lighting is about quarter hour before halachic nightfall. According to Rabbi Moshe, fine Sinagoras Moshe or Chaim, the ideal time to light is 10 minutes after sunset. A menorah cup should contain enough oil to burn for approximately 1 hour, so the flames burn until half an hour after nightfall. So that's the Nakuda. Half an hour after nightfall is we have to aim for, and so therefore you need to have enough oil that the candle you light, the covered Chanukah, is enough oil to burn into nightfall. That's the time of the miracle. Okay, great. So let's go ahead now. It's forbidden to do anything before the times of lighting. You hear that? So he says, even to study Torah. So for the type of activities that are prohibited, if one did begin any activity, you must interrupt it for the purpose of performing the mitzvah. Mishnah Berurah. I remember when I worked for corporate, and there was all kinds of rules, be right back. You couldn't just go anywhere during the time of work. You had to explain every single little thing to your PM, to your personal manager. It was very intense, and you had to put on the general group that you'd be right back. So, for example, when it came to Chanukah or Megillah, we had to get permission to leave for that time to go do the mitzvah, and then come return. So we literally were gone for say half an hour, a bit more, and we couldn't extend it. So we had to have that time to make the most of that time. It was very hard during Hanukkah to work in such a pressured environment. So we have to count ourselves lucky that we don't have that kind of pressure, Baruch Hashem. So even to learn Torah, Rak im lo yispalo marev. Have one and yet daven marev yispalo tchila b'achikach yadlik. So we see that marev and hadlacha go together. First you daven marev, then you light. That's the seder. Let's see what it says underneath. Shirat Sion writes that one should actually not perform activities a half hour before the time for lighting if one has not yet prayed marev. This is prohibited regardless. According to the opinions that the menorah is lit before nightfall, one is required to abstain from activity 1/2 hour before that earlier time of lighting. One may have be lenient with regard to Torah study until half hour before nightfall. So then, if you're lighting earlier and into the night, so then that earlier time that the day hasn't yet ended, you could still learn half an hour before. But once you get close to that time of lighting, the earlier lighting time we were talking about before, so then you should stop even learning. Although the custom in many places to recite Marah following Mincha, even though nightfall has not yet arrived, the actual time for Marah is at nightfall. It is also the time for lighting the menorah. Thus, one who has not yet recited Marah nightfall is faced with two conflicting obligations: Marah and lighting Chanukah candles. Since Marah is a mitzvah that is performed more frequently than lighting candles, and it also contains the biblical mitzvah of Shema, if one has yet prayed Marah, it takes presence of lighting Hadlachas Ner. This concept of Tadeh, She'enu Tadeh, Tadeh Kodim. So the concept is that something that's more frequent, you should do that first. So we know this halakha applies in many other aspects. So Marev comes first because it's done throughout the year, whereas Chanukah is one time a year. Mishnah Berurah rules that the one who usually recites Marev at its optimal time, nightfall, should light the menorah before nightfall, then recite Marev later at nightfall. If they're not yet light before nightfall, he should recite Marev before lighting. He should have prepared the menorah with oils and wicks before Marev, so he can light immediately after he completes his prayer. So this is something which, this exactly how this halakha is how I try to do it. I try to get the menorah ready every day in the daytime, all the oils, all the shemen, and for my kids, the shemen, but also I get ready the wick candles. I do have some kids who like to do it themselves, so I let them do it, but the point is to be ready. And then we go daven Marev, with everything, being well. That's how I do it, I daven Marev, and then I come light. So I'll daven probably Marev at Shut David and then go light, because there's a kedusha of Marev and then hadlacha, and I just also prefer to light when it's mamish night. I don't like this whole earlier time. I mean, it's a whole machlokas about exactly or minhag, exactly when to light. They brought down in the Gemara the time when people were returning back from the shuk, from the marketplace. But I mean, nowadays, we live in a different world. And nightfall does not mean returning from the business. Nightfall, as we know, in this office, you can carry on working till way into the night, and therefore you can probably makayim the mitzvah pasumi nissa all night, based on the fact there are always people around, including your own family, where you can light and they can see the mitzvah of pasumi nissa. But that's a heter and something to discuss. But we have to be up to date with the reality of our generation of being awake most of the night and having lights and internet and being busy working. The shuk's still open, especially America. So I can take Shemen. He must put enough oil in the menorah cups, or for an international business as well. So just make sure you put into your kalem, your vessels, enough to be lit for half an hour. That's for sure. The light should burn for this minimum duration, if they were lit after nightfall, half an hour. The Mishnah has no mitzvah to add oil beyond the amount necessary to burn for half an hour. If one is using wax candles, it's enhanced from the mitzvah to use longer candles to sound more beautiful. So when you buy the longer, nice, colourful ones, they usually last half an hour, hopefully. But this is for kids generally. We use the Shemen Zayit. If one lit the menorah with less than proper amount of oil, should extinguish the flame to fill the menorah and light again without blessing. One who does not have enough oil for all the lights to burn for half an hour should, at least one of them with the minimum amount, see above, this is all below notes. One is lacking enough oil for even one light to burn for half an hour, should light without the blessing. So someone is in such a nebuch situation when he has a small amount. People had the situation with the Holocaust or different kinds of poverties and things that people went through, camps that they were put into, like in Russia. So when they're most nefesh to light the menorah, they would have to just be yoked to without a bracha if they only had a small amount. But thank you, Hashem, we have such a shefer of things that we have loads of oil is not a problem for our generation generally. Okay, after the fact, if you want to light immediately nightfall, but you have a loy like miyad, you can light later with a blessing. That's what we're saying with the long nights and everything. Na'urim, all the times the people in the house are awake. That's the big heta. As long as some members of the house are still awake. After some members have gone to sleep, two leicha pasumi nissa. So that's the problem. There's no more pasumi nissa because at least say you're lighting for outside, for people wandering in the streets still late at night. But now you're in a position where people are sleeping, everyone's sleeping, so you're in a place where no one's awake. So you don't get to do the mitzvah of advertising the miracle. But the good news is, publicizing the miracle can still be done mostly nowadays because most people are awake most of the night. You can always find people awake out in the streets. We find people up in the house. Generally, people are much more flexible in their schedule. And therefore, you can be Mekayim the mitzvah of lighting and advertising the miracle, the Menorah, Chanukah Menorah. Okay, let's go. Yadlik below bracha. He should light without reciting the blessing. Im lo yeh lepenoi lahadlik belayla. If he will not have the time to light at night, yochel lahagdim et atzmo lahadlik. He may light earlier. Palga mincha lamala. Dahainu shah reveres kodem seis chochavim. Palga mincha is an hour and a quarter before nightfall. Hano shas manim, the time is counted using season hours. Lefi erech hayom. So it depends on the length of the day. So you have to go check out luach exactly about that. So you can light earlier. Since the days are short during Chanukah, if the day is just 10 hours long on the clock, 10 standard hours, as plug mincha shah achas shtei minitin v'chetzi. The plug mincha is 1 standard hour, 2.5 minutes for nightfall. But shetain shemen kadei shiur delach. It's one way light a plug mincha, puts enough oil in the menorah so it will still burn chetzi shah achas seis kochavim. Another 30 minutes after the stars come out. It may not have his kach if they're not burned for this long. Lo kai mitzvah is not yet fulfilled the mitzvah. So this is the idea that we have to try pursue the lighting, the miracle of Hanukkah to be lit during the nightfall. So even if we have to light earlier because we have pressing matters to take care of at night, which can be a doctor, all kinds of things that come up in life. So then what you do is you just light at Seitz Kochavim, at Plug Mincha, which is an hour, 15 minutes generally, but in this case 1 hour and a few minutes. And then you light with enough oil that can last half an hour after nightfall. The point is that the menorah has the ability to be lit. Now, if it goes out by accident, it doesn't matter. It has the potential to be lit, and the candles and wicks, everything's set up in such a way that it should be lit at nightfall. If it goes out, that's not your problem. Because you've done your status. Ideally, you're going to sit by the menorah, you're going to daven and pray, we're going to learn about that. The Eitz Ratzon that comes down, the energy, the Ohr of Mashiach. Let's see what it says underneath. Mishabur writes, if one arrives at home an hour late and his family is already sleeping, it's proper to wake them so they can light the menorah with a blessing. So that's, once again, you have that option, making sure the family are around so they can see the mitzvah and the miracle, publicize the miracle. Moshe Feinstein, in the Geras Moshe or Chaim, writes, if another Jew is present, that suffices as well. It doesn't have to be a family, specifically, according to Moshe Feinstein. Moreover, according to Moshe Feinstein, although it's proper to have other present, the blessing will recite even if he is alone. Likewise, even if it's an area where there are no one who will see, no passerby, is blessing nonetheless required. So he holds that you still light the bracha, and you recite the blessings. Others have maintained that plumbing is counted as 1 1/4 hour. Some say the opinion here too, the earliest time lighting would be counted in that manner. So look at a luach as a calendar with the times, and you'll see there when plugging in. So if you need to light earlier, that's the earliest you can light. Therefore, Kitzur explains how to tell me the next season hour, blah blah blah. Okay, anyway, so we'll get back to the halachas of lighting. 1 minute, there's one more thing underneath. I didn't see it, now I see it. Mr. Brewer writes, if there is not enough oil for the lights to burn until half an hour after night, we should relit the menorah. We should not recite the blessing again, because he already made it with bracha when he thought there was enough, but there wasn't. Like if one lit the menorah, plug them in, and there was enough oil for it to burn for the required amount of time, but it was extinguished before nightfall, we light the menorah, but we should not recite the blessing. So he's saying an additional thing, which I didn't say, you should still relight the menorah. But you, thank God, you don't have to do that if for some reason you can't, because you've done the mitzvah. Just if you're able to, you can just light it. But it's not a chiyuv, I don't think, to relight it. You definitely shouldn't say new brachas, because you already said the blessings. Anyway, my blessing to everybody listening is be present Hanukkah, no matter what. Even with business pressures, try, and with that you'll be zoch to a tremendous awe, and you'll see that by making the chavivus of the mitzvah, the dearness of the mitzvah, you'll see that it will bring inspiration to your home, and that's something which we all need for our generation. The whole is advertising the miracle of Chanukah, the light of Chanukah, the light of the Torah should continue onwards in our home and our hearts. Okay, we're going to do another 5-10 minutes of now of Chassidus, a little bit from the BNEI Yissacher. This is Maimah Chodesh Kislev Tevis, Maimah Beis, or HaTorah, or Torah from BNEI Yissacher. Oksav Rav Kodesh now. So now it's quoting his holy Rav. Samach Shemen Veneris L'Suchis. We see the idea of Shemen Veneris, the oil and the candles, to Sukkos. It's very close to the concept of Sukkos. Masal Kishmona Yomim, Af Chanukah Shmona Yomim. Says the base, I think it's the Rav Shulchan Aruch, that you have 8 days of Sukkah. So also too you have 8 days of Chanukah. Mata Azdalahu Kushir Postkim. Lama Kavu Gam B'Yom Rishon Yom Tov Halakha Hari Bo Lo Nasanes. In a lead the fee the Vadai Hochmer Dosh Kavu Mitzvahs Ladoris Yer Shemisbach It's a name the Motza Samach B'Torah. So the concept is that there's a question. Remember, this is the whole big question of Rav Shulchan Aruch. That what was the miracle of Hanukkah? You lit the first night and it managed to stay lit for 8 days. And so that's a miracle in itself. But why are we lighting this first day? This question. This first day, we already have a connection with Sukkah, which is full 8 days. So we already know that this is something which should be lit the whole Hanukkah. So he answers that Hashem is for all the generations lighting us up our eyes to find the Samach B'Torah, that the connection between Sukkah and Hanukkah is eternal. It's not just a whatever. That we went Sukkah, suddenly the winter months began. We think, we're finished with the Chagim, but comes Hanukkah in the middle of the winter. And the Ohr of Sukkah comes with us, and the Ohr of Chanukah is available for us to reconnect to that Ohr that we had in Zman Simchas Seinu. We connect into it through the 8 days of Sukkot, the 8 days of Chanukah, and that Samach Hashem is bringing us and giving us the opportunity to reconnect to that kind of inspiration that we got during Tishrei. V'hainu roi Samach Hashem Yisbarach Parshas Vayeitzei the Sukkos Haminu Baruch Kodsham Shekidei Limit Sukkos Shmona Yomim. So we already had the miracle of 8 days was already in Sukkot, which would then extend the miracle of the first day of Hanukkah into 8 days. So because the light of Sukkah would be mamshach into the light of Hanukkah, so it would be spread out this one hadlacha that we did on the first night of Hanukkah into 8 days, just like Sukkot. So it had to already with the Holy Spirit, the Chachamim knew that there would be this koyach of Hanukkah from Sukkot, and that's the smichas of Parsha, the fact that they're close and connected. V'zeh nirtzim v'gilas tainus, the Gemara Omrim l'shana acheres kavuim. They fixed it. Lama lo take it b'shana rishana. Why not straight away? Avahu be'em shana rishana. You do gamkein min smich Torah shasukan lasot hadlik shmona yomim. Avalo you do mehechan yitchilu shmona yomim. V'svaro dilma tadlik menorah tisha yomim. L'shmona yomim nisim. V'im kein kavias shmona yomim tchila min yom chafvav. So they're actually lit. That was a normal day, the first day seemingly. And then there should be an extra 8 days after that. So it should be 9 days from the first day. So really the miracle only began on the 26th of Kislev, the 26th day. Shem Havai. It only began then because that's when the miracle really kicked off, because now there was second day, it was still lit miraculously. Whereas the first day of being lit, that was Derech HaTeva. So you hear the part of the question here. So they have to wait for the next year to realize that they have to fix it already from the first day. The miracle took place, and it's only 8 days. Because he wanted him to, it was also the miracle. It's also Ratzon Hashem the first day, that we should find the Shemen Zayit Zach and be able to light in the Menorah in the Beis Hamikdash and undo all the damage from the Yavonim, from the Chochmas, the Chitzonis, from all the external forces out there, and be able to light up our neshamas again. We have to make the first day Yom Tov for the lighting. In came at China Shmona Yomim in Yom Chaf Hei. So to wait a year till they could work out that even from the first day of Hanukkah, Chaf Hei, like Chanukah, Chaf Hei, we already learned that that's the day the war stopped and we could light. Al Ken Kru Yomim Eilen Chanukah. Lo Hoirish Etchila Yomim Min Yom Chaf Hei, from the first day, from Chaf Hei Kislev. Zeh Shesodek Shapir B'Gemara. And that was clarifying the correctness of the Gemara. My Hanukkah, Mefarish, that was the question of Hanukkah, my Hanukkah. The Rabbanim teach Kafei because you make Hanukkah to Mina Inyan. So that's why the Gemara goes on, and Gemara Shabbos says that Kafei Kislev was on Hanukkah was 8 days. That's what to Mina Inyan. The Shana Acheres Kavuim, and the next year they fixed it. Lama Shana Acheres Dai Kavuim Hu Mitam. Okay, Chanukah. So then they had clarified this whole thing. Zai Zak Katz is the more ha'oilis. It's a Roshi Tevis of a pasuk in Vayikra. Yeah, I think it's Parshat in the end, near the end of Vayikra. Katz is more ha'oilis. Vayikra, I think it's the end of Parshat Emor, where we have the Chagim, and then after the Chagim, straight away, we have the mitzvah Menorah. There's a remez there from the Parsha of the Menorah in Parshat Emor, of Chanukah after the Chagim, like we just had the Sukkah, then follows Chanukah, which has Gematria Behala V'Hoda. So Zayas Zah Kasis Lam'ola Oilis, that the pure Shemen Zayit you crush, as we were learning with Shlomo this week, we get crushed in order to create the light. We crush the Zayit, we're moving Bez Hashem to Zayit, we're living in Zayit, we're breaking open the Zayit to reveal the light, and to go up, la olis. This is the gematria of these Roshi Tevis, Zayin, Chaf, Lamed, is gematria, B'Hala V'Hoda, Loshana Hashas, Hina Ksava Rava Kodesh, Ba'al Harokeach, and now, Shebenusach Hoda Yesh Kuf Chaf Hei Tevis, Communion Kohanim. So apparently the whole Alanissim that we say on Hanukkah has in it the Nusach Hoda, there's 125 letters, which is the gematria of Kohanim, the numerical value of Kohanim, priests, which I'm one of them. Any Yadei Nisachasoi. In Yirtza Hashem Mefarish Mukom Acher. Lefi Naschenu Hu Ad Siyam Tevis Lahodis Pei Tes Tevis, meaning Chanukah. So apparently there's another remez to the 89 words, which is the gematria of Hanukkah. Shehu Bahodash Kvu Rak Nemei Hanukkah. Because Hanukkah is a time where we fix this time of thanking Hashem. Messiah Machachar Lahalo Shimcha Godol and Lahoris Yasukim Gamkein Lama Halo Nema B'chol Modim Zemtim Tam Loma Yeshinui B'Hoda Malashon Gemara. Gemara Amru B'Hala B'Hoda B'Nusach Hoda Amru Lahodis Lahalo. So you have to thank Hashem. Hodis to thank and to praise. So it's not just Halo, it's Halo Hodis Lahalo. Hine Gam Nesachenu Yesh B'Hoda Samich Beis Tevis Minyan Halo B'Hoda. In a surf nusach ala nisim yud vav tevin ish kufches tavin. Nearly the remez are ribri or kitov, and ribri osis tov zeh al zeh. This is all very deep things, and that's amongst the Mekabalim, probably with David Daniel Cohen knows such things, because they're tes parmim vav hu nun daled, base parmim nun daled hu kafches misbar tevis hoda. The Ramesh mitzvahs mitzeles min adina shel gehenim gematria kufches. Apparently, this mitzvah lighting the Chanukah and saying Halav Odah is saving us from the judgment of hell, God forbid, and based on all these gematrias. Al Ksav Rav Kodesh Zos Chanukah Mizbeach Gematria Zos Yeh B'Mei Chashmonaim. And interestingly, who was one of the Chashmonaim Matziel, and I'm moving on Zos Chanukah to Zayit. Bezat Shem to Aruch of Mashiach 26. So we're going to see the Shem Avai. Ad kan lashon of Osiv Loma Zos Chanukah Gematria Kel Mashiach. There we go. And you should be the God of Mashiach is by its Hashem. So that's exactly where I'm moving Mashiach, Aruch of Mashiach. Everything's Ashkach Pratis. Even these deep Torahs that we're seeing here can connect to our basic realities in life. Anyway, we'll end off with the Koyach of Yaakovinu. He was most nefesh to build Am Yisrael and to bring the light of Hanukkah, even then, all the way back then, with the Shemen Zayit and Tikkun Tfilas Arvis in the night, lighting up the nights with Atzlacha and Bracha and everything we're doing, building our homes, building our businesses. And it comes here, a beautiful concept that, we'll just finish with this, that there's 36 candles, Keneged Ohr Rishon Sheshimish La'adam Rishon. So interestingly, I think we mentioned this. There's 36 candles, and we're learning also the Torah in the Kitzur. It's 36 Torah. There's 36 hours that Admor Rishon was of light that he was given. 6 hours before Shabbos, 24 hours of Shabbos, and 6 hours after Shabbos. That's 36 hours of Shabbos. Sikta kasov od os tes shel v'yar elikim es or kitov yesh o tes dalet tagin. So tes 4 times 9 is 36. So the idea, the 36 hours of Shabbos, 6 hours before, 6 hours after, including Shabbos, and the 36 candles Chanukah, and the dalet tagin, the dalet crowns on the letter tes, 4 times 9 is 36. Lahiris dalet pamim tes hainu remez al lav lamed vav neres shel Chanukah. Od devav hinero yididei devrei ir kaddish kol devav devrei kabbalah mepi Eliyahu. So now we're quoting from Eliyahu Novi. Yeah, these are Kabbalistic things. Amish oris hamitzvah ner Chanukah ma'oris oregonis. So we know that the light of Ner Chanukah is awakening the hidden light that was hidden in creation, hidden in the Torah. So everything of Hanukkah was in the realm of miracles, not in the realm of physicality, of nature. So we're tapping into this light. This is the Chochmas HaTorah, the Hachim Yidarim, the Menorah B'Dorim, Ki Kol Chach Ohr Boer Mina Ohr Gonas Shegonas B'Torah. So we're revealing that hidden light, and that was fixed for all the generations. Yeah, the Doris Baruch HaKodesh U'Mipnei Shedur B'Chol Shana is Gala Ora'u, and this light comes down every time. As I was saying, when you're sitting by the menorah for those 30 minutes, you're tapping into that hidden light. The Oregonas, the Ohr of Mashiach, the Lamed Vav Neiros. You're tapping into the Lamed Vav Shas of Anamarishan Shabbos. You're tapping into the Pneumius of the world, the inner reality, the inner truth, the inner Torah, the hidden Torah, and that's Megale B'Shlemus at that time of lighting. And the Oregon's B'Shlemus. K'may Razal, Gonza Sadiqim Nasilovas. So it's only hidden for what's going to come in the future. But the beautiful thing of Hanukkah is we get a taste of it, get to reveal it in Olam Hazeh, during the week, in the lowest place, the lowest time, in the darkest time, and we get to light up with that hidden light from the realms of Moshiach, the realms of Lasad Lavo. Lo yeh lecha od shemesh mam dekerech lo yeh lach v'ha'ilach or olam. Hine zeh yeh achet sham megalas achal hazeh malchus revius hine od hashlemus malchus java malchus shlishis elanu Hashem yisbach numat ka'at mina or hu achash nisbach nevuah. So once nevuah began no longer being revealed, prophets, there was no more prophets, not in the money sense, prophets in terms of the prophecy sense. So once there was no more prophecy, then Hashem slowly revealed to us till Moshiach's coming, at the end of the third Golus with Yavanim, with the fourth Golus beginning, he gave us chizuk every year by revealing the Oregonas, the Ohr of Mashiach, so we could tap in already to the light of the Lasad Lavo, so we could already have a taste of the future, so we could always keep ourselves focused on what the goals and this has been increasing more and more with Bar Yochai, Shem Bar Yochai, the Talmidim with Arizon, the Baal Shem Tov, and all the way through Rabbi Nachman and Rabbi Chabad Rebbes, all the way through the Bnei Yissacher, all the Tzaddikim, till we're lighting up the Lamed Vav Neiros, Lamed Vav Tzaddikim, and bringing that light into our home. And it's giving us a taste of Ruach HaKodesh, a little taste of what's going to be, so we could develop the ability to light up our lives in this world and be ready for Moshiach Sekenu. Everyone should be zok to lit up Shabbos and a lit up rest of the day. And I'm going to go down Mincha Marav now, and we'll do look tomorrow on there. And anyway, if you're zok, everyone should be gebenched with a good gebench. Sure, Hanukkah is already shlemus of the Yom Tovim, and we'll be zok to dance Moshiach Sekenu. And the Binyan by Shlishi with the Ohr of Menorah and the Ohr of Mashiach and the Ohr of upon him on all of Am Yisrael, on the faces of Am Yisrael, and we will be blessed with bracha and atzlacha all the way through till we reach that. Amen.